Hello and welcome to another episode of VERITAS. My name is Jessica Lubianski and I'm so blessed today to be joined by our counselor at my home parish, Miss Carrie Andrews. And so welcome, Carrie, to this episode. We are diving into one of my favorite topics to talk about today, which is self-care. And Carrie is a licensed counselor. She's been in many different aspects of mental health awareness, and so I'm first going to let Carrie tell you a little bit about her professional background.
So a little bit about my background is I was originally in the military, and then I went into law enforcement. While I was in law enforcement, I worked mental health, which means I worked things that were all mental health related. So anybody who came in contact with me didn't go to jail. They went to a hospital or got services. And that was, how old am I now? At least 15 years ago. That lend itself perfectly to go into the profession of counseling, and that's kind of where my heart sits now. So I am in the last stretch of being fully licensed for private practice, and intend to stay here as long as Miss Jessica and the church lets me.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and dive right into this topic of self-care. So in and of itself, what is self-care?
So self-care just is literally anything. And that's a huge, broad topic, but anything you do that brings absolute pleasure and joy to yourself. Non-regrettable pleasure and joy. That being said, moderation is still a word in there. So you can use things, the standard stuff we hear about, right? Journaling, exercise, spending time with, family, loved ones, things like that. But it could also be things like, doing your dishes, taking a shower, taking a nap. Anything can fall into that category that, again, is non-regrettable and indulgent at the moment. That's the key term to that. Don't feel bad because you cared for yourself. It's not selfish to do self-care. It's for you to function.
Awesome. So what are some practical things that we can do, especially whenever we're going through stress, a pandemic, that, high intense times? What are some examples of things that we can do for ourselves, especially for our young church, the youth and the young adults of our church?
One of the fundamental things to make sure you understand about self-care is that you realize the necessity for it. So you recognize, I haven't done that today, So 30 minutes basically a day to do anything. So let's just say, what is a typical day like? You get up, we'll do high school. You get up, some of us are going to school, some of us are still online, right? So we have basic check-ins all day long, and then we're home by about 3 o'clock. So at that point, what's left? Homework, anything else that you need to do. Within that time, again, that 30 minutes, what does that mean? Am I going to eat something I actually want to eat that's not school related? Am I going to maybe social media? Okay, limit social media for negative stuff, but, am I talking to my friends on a chat app or something like that? Or do I just need to sleep? Do I need to just give myself 30 minutes of this? Do I need to stretch? Maybe I need to work out. Maybe I need to walk into my house and ask my family, how can I help you today? Because I need that interaction, because we don't have it, right? I mean, I still can't get close enough to anybody to do anything, and that's frustrating because we're social beings. So, again, maybe it's playing with your dog. Maybe it's playing with your little brother or sister. Put something in there that you want to do.
Right, and you did, before we were starting to film, we were talking about this idea of social distancing and that we're social beings, and I love what you said, that we're not socially distanced, that we're physically distanced.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important aspect of self-care, is because as human, we weren't created to be alone. That's why God made man and woman, because we're not destined to be alone. We can't walk this earth alone. And so part of it, he gives us people, he gives us a community to help one another. And so if we're struggling with finding ways and we need something beyond self-care, what are some things that we can do to either find counseling or get a resource in our lives?
Right now, obviously through St. Jerome and other parishes within this archdiocese, there are counselors that are accessible to you. We just discussed right now allowing a little bit more resources online, even if it's just to have a quick conversation. We are in the world of tele-everything now, which means that if you absolutely need somebody, they're either a phone call or a computer link away from you. There are emergency lines that I can give out to make sure we have on there. And sometimes it's just a matter of another parishioner. Or, like I said, a friend or a family member. Just reach out. Somebody will be able to link you with somebody. And I'm accessible all the time. Except when I'm asleep, and I will still get back to you as fast as I can.
Because that's part of that self-care, is taking that time to sleep.
To sleep. When you have small children, they don't let you very often, as you know, but you do it. But yeah, there has been resources put out all over the news, all over, because we are aware, and especially we're in a rural area. You really have to think about that now too. There's less accessibility. There's people here that really need you. So maybe you're the one that recognizes somebody needs help, and you're the one that reaches out, rather than you having to be the one that needs help and reach out to.
Oh, awesome. So thank you again for joining us today.
Anytime.
It's always awesome to talk about self-care. Your challenge for this week is to spend that 30 minutes, like Miss Carrie said, just taking time for yourself. And if you really have an opportunity, try to include God in it somehow, whether it's, thinking and talking to him as you're settling down into your sleep, or in your workout, in that rhythm of activity just for you. Try to make it as positive and as spiritual as possible. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Veritas, and we will see you soon.